Spring officially arrived this morning, a few hours before sunrise, which means it's time for another one of our quarterly check-ins with our resident astronomer, Dr. Chris Palma, from the Penn State Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics. I trust, Chris, you made it through this real winter in one piece?
Yeah, we survived so far.
All right. Well, there was a lot of astronomy-related news in the past couple months. I thought I would start with a space probe called the Parker Solar Probe that, as you can tell by its name, explores the sun.
Yeah.
But this was particularly interesting because it got really close, right?
Yeah. So folks remember seeing the solar corona, the upper atmosphere of the sun during the eclipse or in pictures of the eclipse. The Parker Solar Probe is actually dipping into the sun's atmosphere. It's getting only 3 million miles away. So people always ask, isn't it going to burn up? And no, not if it's built carefully. And the folks at Johns Hopkins built a wonderful satellite that is able to get that close to the sun and survive those incredibly harsh conditions.
And this is a historic probe because that's as close as any human-made object has ever intentionally gotten to the sun.
Yes.
I also noticed there's been a flurry of activity regarding the moon. Private companies continuing to send probes onto the moon. And I guess it was called the Blue Ghost, kind of setting the stage for humans to get there. Tell us about that.
Sure. So as people are probably aware, right, NASA has been working in collaboration with a lot of different private companies. And so this lander was done as a partnership between NASA and this one company. And it is the first truly successful landing on the moon by this type of partnership. And as you said, it's in anticipation. Like if we want to send humans back to the moon, the more we can test out technology, the more we can map out the surface in detail, the more measurements we can make, the easier it's going to be to land humans. And so NASA wants to work with these companies to send a pretty frequent number of these landers to the moon.
And prior to this one, there had been others, but they fell over or simply were not able to really transmit any data from the surface.
Correct.
Yeah. And then, so we talk about the sun, we talked about the moon. Let's now talk about asteroids. And I saw two, and I'm not talking about the video game. I saw two interesting asteroid-related stories. First, we're finally getting some results back from this very interestingly named probe called OSIRIS-REx that is returned a sample from an asteroid back to Earth for scientists here to look at. Only, 4 ounces, but I guess astronomers have been able to do a lot with just a little.
Yeah. So I don't know if people appreciate exactly how rare that is to have a sample from something in space returned to Earth. So we can do a lot with telescopes, with other instruments to measure things at a distance, but truly bringing material back to Earth has only been done a few times. And so, in the lab, we have samples of this asteroid, and we found it has minerals that show it likely had salt water that evaporated, leaving behind a lot of salts. It has all of the amino acids that are precursors to proteins. So this idea that perhaps the ingredients for life were delivered to Earth by asteroids seems to be supported by the first results from this OSIRIS-REx mission.
And just as sort of a follow-up to that, are astronomers concerned that there might be some contamination, once it gets back to Earth? I suppose it's really sealed.
Yeah. That's exactly what you have to worry about. And so that was most of the mission, was how do we ensure that all that material that we get back is actually as pristine as possible. And amazing work was done to prevent that contamination.
Got it. The other asteroid story, a bit more sobering, I saw a report that this newly discovered asteroid, a couple 100 feet long, has a 1% chance of hitting Earth in 2032. I mean, should we really be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to be concerned. We monitor these asteroids because if they were to impact Earth, it is like a bomb, right? There was a smaller one that blew up over the atmosphere in Russia a number of years ago, and people were injured. Now, you should be concerned, but you don't have to be too concerned. And in particular, whenever there is one that we think may be dangerous, we monitor it very carefully, just like you folks monitor hurricanes. Right. And as we get more and more data, we can refine its path. So since that notification that you saw, they've actually revised downward the probability, so it's more like 0.001% chance of an impact. So we are perfectly safe.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness we had you in then. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about one of your faculty members. I understand that a picture he was involved with is now on a stamp.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think that's so much fun, isn't it? I mean, one of the great things about astronomy is, yes, we do it because we love to learn about space. We try to figure out how far away things are, how massive they are, what they're made of. But all of those images that you see are beautiful. Lots of people like to have astronomical images just up on the wall as artwork. And so Kevin did take this image with the James Webb Space Telescope, and someone else suggested to the Postal Service that they put it on a stamp, and it was one of a small number that were selected. So this beautiful image of a cloud where new stars are being born is going to be on a stamp.
We have to make sure that that is in Central Pennsylvania post offices.
Yes. Yep.
Only about 30 seconds left. What are you thinking about sky watching in the next couple weeks?
Yeah. Well, the thing I wonder if folks have seen in the news a lot is there's another solar eclipse coming. And you might be thinking, well, I haven't heard about this one. No one's trying to give me glasses this time. And it's because the last time we talked about solar eclipses, we talked about how only a small part of Earth can see any given eclipse. So yes, there is a solar eclipse. It's happening at the end of this month, but it's going to go over the North Pole, and it's going to be visible in Siberia and northern Canada. So no chance for us, unfortunately.
Okay. Or intrepid folks who have decided to cruise or take a flight.
Yes.
Dr. Chris Palma, Penn State Department, Astronomy and Astrophysics. Always good to see you. We will be back in a moment with more.